Smooth.
Really sorry. I was eating a clementine, and of course, one clementine had a seed in it, and it was the one that I just ate. Good morning, Dr. Mary.
Good morning, Dee. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Give me 1 second.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have put that out for you.
Oh,
For heaven's sakes.
need a producer.
Table. So it's Gratitude Tuesday. We're back live.
Yes.
That's good. Dr. Mary, you're sitting behind me. See, the perspective is off. For all of you who don't know, I live in mortal fear of looking huge. So when I look bigger than Dr. Mary, then I can't think about anything but that. See how much better that is?
Oh, yes. That looks spectacular.
It's all the difference in the world. Good morning, Matt. So, all right, Gratitude Tuesday. We're talking. Stop it right now. So mean. You already know how insecure I am about all these kinds of things. We're talking about a quote I came across on Twitter from Adam Grant. Adam Grant wrote the book Give and Take. He's a professor of psychology, organizational psychology at Wharton. But if you haven't read Give and Take, it's incredibly interesting. So I really recommend that you get it from your library or order it from someplace, preferably a local bookstore. Because guess what? Jeff Bezos does not need any more of our money. So there's that. Here's the quote. The worst advice sometimes comes from people who are the most eager to help. In their rush to give answers, they fail to ask enough questions to understand the dilemma. Giving advice is like solving a puzzle. It's best to gather all the pieces before trying to put them together. So we decided to tie this back a little bit to what we talked about yesterday, which was this idea of we don't really think that we're here for hardcore addicts and alcoholics because of exactly what this says. It's not that we don't want to help people who are there. I lived with one who was there.
We're not qualified.
We're not qualified.
Even, there's a world of difference between surviving and getting through to the wonderful sobriety side of addiction, but I'm not qualified to do that for anyone else.
No, and what we know is true is that Maz would not have listened to this.
No.
If another couple had been doing this and I had found it, I could have pleaded with him every day to watch it. And even if he would have watched it, he would not have paid attention to it because he was way further gone than I understood. So what I find interesting about this is this second section. In their rush to give answers, they fail to ask enough questions to understand the dilemma. So you've heard us talk about that Maz basically lived in the basement because he could drink there by himself. Good morning, Ann. And he would be down here often all night long or through much of the night, or he'd get up early and I'd come downstairs and I would stand between him and the television and I would scream at him, for lack of a better word, to just stop drinking. Just stop it. Like I scream at myself to stop picking at my cuticles. I wonder how successfully that's going. But what I didn't understand is that in my rush to just fix him, just stop it. I didn't ask enough questions to understand the dilemma because I did not understand the dilemma. I thought drinking was a choice and you either chose to do it or you chose to stop. And I didn't understand why Maz would not stop.
It's the inability to stop that's what becomes an addiction. And you all do it. Everyone's done it. Say someone says, "I want to lose 5 pounds." Well, stop eating crap. That's easy.
Special K bars.
Cheese.
Yeah.
Who knew? It's just terrible.
Can you imagine? Dr. Mary has a PhD in science, and he was shocked when I finally convinced him that the about 4 ounces of cheese he was eating right before bed every night was the cause of his weight gain. That just shocked him. I have a theater degree and I knew that.
It's so unfair. These food
It might be
pyramids,
unfair, but
they
it's
just
not
do you in.
confusing.
Oh, it's just tragic. Anyway, But the point is, you can, with all the best intentions in the world, you can say to someone, just stop doing that. How? You know, if you don't have a follow-up answer or a fantastic piece of advice, you're just yelling into a box, urinating into the wind, whatever. It does no use to anybody.
Yeah.
So, you know, don't be judgy unless you've got a follow-up that's going to help. I mean, I don't mean judgy, actually. I mean, you weren't...
I was very judgy.
But you were also desperately trying to help, but none of us knew what to do.
Yeah. So I think what makes this so interesting is if you're someone like me, who is someone like my mother, I see you on here, Bonnie Bowman, you know that we think, well, we always have the best answer, so just follow our answer. It's as easy as that. You're struggling. I'm perfect. I'll tell you how to stop struggling, and then you just fix it. It's magic. It's not magic. In most instances, just because my mother and I have what we think is the solution doesn't mean it actually is a solution that can be followed. I think there were times where you heard me and where you genuinely thought, yes, I'm going to try to stop drinking less. I am going to drink less. I'm going to work on that. I don't think that when you said to me, yep, I'm going to work on that,
I did
you
try.
were always
And
fobbing me off.
No, I really wasn't. It just was completely unsuccessful.
Because I didn't know the entire puzzle. I had pieces of the puzzle, but I could not see the whole picture because I did not understand what addiction was.
And you can't actually help yourself. You can't actually help yourself as an addict going through treatment until you see the whole picture yourself. And that's one of the beautiful things that you get taught, looking for the whole picture. And all of a sudden, you're just sitting there surrounded by advice. It's not advice you want to hear, but you can actually, at this point, listen to it.
Yes, and that is true for all of us in whatever we need to work on. Whatever it is. If you don't have the whole picture, you are unlikely to be successful. So, let me read it to you one more time. Do you have anything else you want to say before I do that?
No, I think that's it.
From Adam Grant. The worst advice sometimes comes from people who are the most eager to help. In their rush to give answers, they fail to ask enough questions to understand the dilemma. Giving advice is like solving a puzzle. It's best to gather all the pieces before trying to put them together. So to tie this to Gratitude Tuesday, what I want to say is how grateful I am. I don't pretend to have all the pieces of the puzzle of being the spouse of an addict enjoying sobriety. But I have so many more pieces now than I had 4 years ago. And because of that, I can see a much clearer whole image. And because of that, my advice can have more grounding, can have more facts, can come from a better place of not just truth, but also recognition and understanding of how much more complex this problem, this puzzle is than simply put the drink down. That is not the whole of the picture. That's just a corner of the picture.
And what I'm grateful for is the first, even before I went to Prairie St. John, the first few days I was awake again, I'm grateful for the fact that I could listen. You know, when you wanted me to go into rehab, and then I found out you could do it at night, and I thought that would work, and then I listened to you again, and I went into residential care. That's what I'm grateful for.
Yeah. So, get as much of the puzzle put together to see the whole picture as you can before you start offering advice.
And you know, people, they're not listening to you because they don't care about you either. If you're trying to deal with someone who's suffering from
they're
addiction.
not listening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I bet you there's a part of their brain that is trying to listen. They just don't know how to, because everything else is a huge. It's like listening to a freight train go by in your head.
Well, the other thing to remember is that everybody has their own puzzle.
Yeah.
So I have a puzzle, you have a puzzle, we have a puzzle, and my perspective of the puzzle is different than your perspective. So it's a simplification to talk about it as if, well, now that Maz and I both have a sense of addiction, now we can solve all the we can't necessarily do that, because everybody's puzzle is different.
Everyone's reaction to treatment is different. Everyone looking for their answer of, one of the great questions I get asked every now and then is, well, how did this all start? I have no idea. And a friend of mine in AA said to me once, you could drive yourself crazy trying to find that out. If you can just be happy with the fact that you're sober and know how to stay sober and want to stay sober, we just deal with that.
I'm happy about that.
So am I. I mean, I would. Sometimes I think, I wonder what the hell. And I just think, well, who knows? Let's just, there's no point of that dwelling in the past. You move on.
Yeah. Last little post, totally unrelated to this. You have 7 days to vote.
Yes.
Everyone who's ever watched me breathe air knows how I hope everyone votes. That is not the point. The point is to vote. So get your mask on if you're going to vote in person. I'm going to vote in person because I love to vote in person, and because I just made that decision that I'm going to. But if you're scared to vote in person, get that ballot and get it in the mail. It might be too late for that, but there's drop-off locations in a lot of places. Please go vote this time next week. So, hey, last thing I'm grateful for is you, Dr. Mann.
Oh, thanks very much. I'm very grateful for you.
Good. It's Mutual Admiration Society at the Del Val Mary household. I hope you have somebody you're grateful for today, too. Have an excellent day. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.